So here we are again, folks. We're ready for another 8-ball bar table world championship match. This is a one-loss side match, and we will have a quick look at the bracket. Well, we will do in a second. Right, there we go. We're over on the one-loss side. It's a round 5 match. It's a race to 9, and the match has just got underway between Marvin and Popman. And Marvin has won the first rack. Trying to get this silly wee light of mine sorted. It's not that good, but it's better than nothing. Right, so in rack number 2, Popman is on the stripes, Marvin on the solids, and he's got a simple combo once he gets there up in the top right hand corner. Look at that 6-ball. He's got it sandwiched, the 12-ball sandwiched between it and the 1, but it's an easy enough combo to open up that pocket. Once he's got rid of this 4-ball, he's going to have to move things about a bit. And he's also going to rely on a bit of luck as to how these balls end up, because that 5-ball is next to the 10 and the 11. Well, I think he can get the potting angle. I think he can on this 5, yep. Straight away, he's got the same problem again. He just doesn't know 100% where the 6 is going. And that's the problem. I don't think he can see enough of it. In fact, I think he might be able to see enough of that. If he just bends it very slightly, he can probably cheat it off the rail, or maybe even off the 10-ball. Well, he tried his best, but he's got control so far. Popman's left with all his stripes on the table, and he's going to have to play a bit canny here, because the 8-ball's wide open, and one mistake from Popman, and you would think Marvin will take care of what's left. And of course the other problem for Popman is his 10-ball is blocked off by the 6, but if he can get good on the 10, he would really need to pot that 9 and try and get the 10-ball to follow the 6 in to stay at the table, or he can play a safety. Well, he's done the next best thing. That's an excellent shot, because that's cannoned onto the blocking ball and opened up the whole table. So all of these balls are here for the taking now for Popman, and after that shot he's really got to run out, because now the 8-ball's wide open, nothing to stop it going in, so no mistakes. Well, if he pots this 11 and just draws back a little tad, he can get rid of the 15. Doesn't need to worry about the 9-ball just now, but he's looking at it, but I'd be concentrating on getting on that 15, getting it out of the way. Although it's open to this corner pocket, you've got to get better on it for that one. So now he's got the choice of taking into this corner And the danger is when you pot that 9 and start letting the cue ball run, very easy to do something silly and block yourself off with the 8 ball. He's a bit straight here though. I'd still be taking the 15 ball and then potting the 14 and then getting rid of the 9. See, there's the issue. Stunned it into the jaws and it's hung up. That didn't work. I'll do that again.
Oh dear, outside, never mind.
Well, that's going to be a loss because Marvin called the bank on the 8 ball and it went into the bottom right hand corner, so a reprieve there for Potman, but it was a bad miss on that 9 ball, but that isn't the pattern I would have taken to get out. I would have left the 9 ball as the last ball because it's easy enough to get onto the 8. But that's the breaks you need. So remember also it's an alternate break tournament this. No jump cues, no shot clock. So you can take your time to think about shots before you make your move. So still an open table, but a lot of balls all lined up there in the top corner. So Marvin's made his choice. He's going for the solids. You have to move stuff. He's done that, but now he's got no shot unless he can see that 6. And I think he can just squeeze through to the 6. But excuse me. Just hit it to the point there. But we've got a messy table. Yeah, 13 ball looks good for the corner, and then he can cannon into something. Well, he's going for a bank. Now, the only problem with this shot is playing that shot, unless that ball follows the 6 in. Well, he decided not. He's decided to play safe. But if he had played the bank down on that 13 down to the 6 ball in the corner there, the 13 would have needed to have followed it in. If it hadn't, control of the table would have went back to Marvin. And he's trying to move stuff around, and that's a bonus. Get rid of the 5. And now, if he pots this 2 and leaves himself, let's have a look at the top end of the table. Is that a 1 ball? Yes, it is. Well, he's looking to get an angle on the 1 right now. He could actually pot the 1, but it'd be a big risk. He could split the 7 easily enough off that angle, but he's then got no guarantee of getting a shot in the next ball. And now he can certainly move the 7. And he's having to play it with a lot of right inside English just to check off the rail. And that's worked out perfect. And just a little run through off the top rail and back out, I would think, unless he wants to draw back. Yeah, back off the rail. That was well worked, because it wasn't a simple run out, but it gives Marvin a 2-rack to run lead. Reminder as well, it's only a shorter run now on the 1 loss side, just a race to 9, race to 11 on the winner's side. Now something went into the bottom left hand corner. It was the 6 ball. Now the spots, these spot balls look, the solid balls look good here for Potman. That's if we can actually pot one of them. He can certainly pot the 1. It's a cut back past the 13. That one there, he can pot that one. He can get to the 4, and he wants to get rid of this 7, and he's not come out far enough. So it's the next choice. It's going to have to be the 2, and he's now got a problem. And the immediate problem is because he's not got on that 7. So he's going to have to find a way of getting to the 7. And that could be his undoing if he doesn't get to run this table. Of course, the other issue is the 8 ball. The 8 ball I don't think goes into any pocket. It certainly doesn't now. And now it's turned into a bit of a mess here. Now if he pots the 1, he can bring the cue ball over here somewhere and pot the 3 and try and move stuff around here, because he needs to get that 7 ball out, and he can't get on the 7 off that 3 unless he managed to find a gap between the 14 and the 7 and cannon onto the 8, which is a bit of a miracle shot if he could do that. But going to have to be a good one either way. Oh dear. Again, a poor one. That's 2 unforced errors by Potman. And of course that ball going in is a missed call. And look at where the 7 ball is. It's hidden in there. So up at this top end here, Potman's 1 ball and 7 ball are going absolutely nowhere. So Marvin is in control here at the moment, which is not good news for Potman's chances in this rack. Well, it's got slightly better because Marvin's actually moved out his 7 ball, or Potman's 7 ball. He's going to have to play the combo in the 11 and the 10. And we look at that 11 ball and the 10 ball, that's an easy combination shot, so there's no problem taking care of that. He's got to get good on the 9 though. And of course the other thing is, if he was to play that combo right now, all he's doing is bringing Potman's 1 ball into play. So he's going to leave it for the time being, I think. A lot of spin in the cue ball. He's finished dead straight on the 9, which now makes it more of a problem. In fact, more so that he probably should take the 14 instead, because he's not got many choices to what he can do with this. He can only draw back off the 9. Going forward doesn't do anything for him. So he's left an awkward cut on the 14, and the cue ball is going to go across the table twice. In fact, I think he's not even going to attempt that, is he? I think he was thinking about the safety. But the commitment to win the rack is off this shot right now. In fact, he's actually got perfect on this. He's going to be nowhere near the 1 ball, so he's not going to disturb the 1 ball. But then he's still got the same issue himself in actually trying to get the 8 ball out. And he's absolutely no chance of doing that now. So all of a sudden, Potman has become favourite. Unless he can play an excellent shot here with tons of English to try and get back over for the 8. Well, that nudge on the 7 has actually ruined the shot. I think he'd have been able to squeeze that 8 ball past there if he hadn't nudged the 7. So now Potman has gone favourite. Well, Marvin is trying to, I don't know what he's trying to do and how he's going to get this 8 ball past the 7. Well, he tried his best to squeeze it past. Well, now Popman's got the angle on this 5. He has to try and drop onto the bottom rail, and if he can, drop down here to play the 7 first. That should be the plan. Try and get the cue ball in between them somewhere, but the closer he can get this side, the easier shot he'll have on the 7. But he's not got there. So now he has a problem. Well, he could certainly leave himself a bank on the 7, and the bank on the 7 would be good because the 7 ball's off the rail, and it wouldn't be a difficult bank. Could run out to here with a cue ball and play the bank back into the corner, but that's an all or nothing shot. Well, he's gone too far. He's going way up the table. I know this is all about touch. I'm going to try and hook Marvin behind the 7. And, well, let's have a look. Well, he could jack the cue up and try the little Massey shot. Try and just squeeze around past the 7 and nudge the 8 in. Now, can he see enough of it? Oh, he can. He got a bust through there. So that's how Popman lost that rack. He had the table at his mercy and couldn't get to that spot we were talking about on the bottom rail. That would have given him the choice of the 2 balls, and that was a heavy price to pay. And it's now 3-1 to Marvin, and 3 balls have gone down in the break. Oh, what the hell happened there? Did I miss something there? Or did the 8 ball go down in the break or something? Maybe that's what happened. That's why it re-racked him. Anyway, this time it's a dry break. And look at where the cue ball is. This is kind of shot you don't want to be coming to the table to. He's got virtually no shot on here. He can play the 5. Cue ball's running up the table, but these solid balls, again, they don't look too bad. He's hung the 5. So there's just been, well, I can count them. There's been 4 errors by Popman, which is chiefly why he's 3 racks to 1 behind. One of them certainly on that 7 ball, not getting the cover, and it was just down to touch. Couldn't block the 8 ball off enough. So still an open table. No choice has been made yet. That's a good little combo. So Marvin on the stripes. Now, how's he going to deal with this 14 ball? Marvin's 14 balls, that one there. And it's going nowhere from that position. And he's tried to improve the situation, but it's not helped any. Well, now I think if he had travelled a bit further up, he can if he'd gotten up to here, he'd have been perfect on that 9 ball to pot it and actually get into these 2 balls and move them around. And now I don't think he's got a lot of options here. He can play the 14 ball onto the 5. That'll pot the 5 and concede his visit to the table. Well, calling the bank on the 9. But playing the bank, I don't think he can get anywhere near these 2 balls. Now for Potman to have a chance to run out here, he's the wrong side of the 1 because he wants to get up and take care of that 7 ball and also the 2 ball. Well, this is maybe not the shot I'd be playing right now. He's going to play the combo, and to do that with that 7 ball in such a position at the top end of the table, he's got to get good. And right now would be the ideal time to spin over to that right hand rail and get on that 2 ball, and then that would give him a chance in the 7. He needs a bit of spin and not too hard. The worst he'll have is a shot in the 1 ball into the middle. Well, he's neither here nor there, and things are going out of line here very quickly here for Potman. He needed to be a bit firmer in that so he could go over for the 2, although we don't know whether he was playing for the 2 though. Now, he could go forward with right English, but I think he would run into that couple of balls up there. The pink 12 ball, I think it is, and his own 7. Has he got there? Well, he's got a shot on it into the middle, but he's still out of shape here. I'm convinced he's on the 7, but it's not an easy shot. But the pink board does go. And now he's in the position he should have been a little while ago. The 6 ball is there. He could take the 6, then the 2, because he doesn't need to do anything with the cue ball. Just kill the cue ball stone dead, or come back an inch or 2. Well, once again he's going the other way about it. And now he has to get a sight on this 6. Personally, I would have taken the 6 first, because it's not guaranteed that he's going to get good on this 6. If he brushes into the 12, as long as he's not blocked by that 8 ball, so he needs to go through a little bit, and he's okay. So here's the crucial one. Getting out for this 8 ball and avoiding collisions. Let's have a look at it from his end. Well, if he goes forward, he's taking a big risk, because if he goes over here, he could be blocked out if he doesn't get this right. And he's got to get the cue ball close over here to have a good shot in the 8. That's the danger. Oh dear.
What the fuck is that?
Well, this is going wrong for Potman early on. And it's now going to be 4-1 by the looks of it. And again, the only question I have is just the way that he took that pattern there. He should have taken the 6 in the middle. Hindsight's a great thing, but got to... I mean, the 6 ball ended up being the problem ball. Had to get good on it. He got good on it, but then the problem was the angle. He had to try and get on the 8, and that draw back into the middle pocket has shot himself in the foot. But Popman's not out of this. He's well capable, but he needs to cut out these mistakes. And it's 4-1, and the break goes back to Popman. Desperately needs something in the break here, and he needs to win this rack, I think, to get him back in the match. Because at the moment he's not competing. Too many mistakes. But a ball has gone in. 14 ball has gone. And looking at the straight balls are fine, because that 9 ball goes into the middle pocket here, and he could take care of that 9 ball right now if he rolls in the 15 and rolls through and get rid of the 9 ball. Now this is the thing I mentioned before about dealing with problem balls in your run out, and he had a great opportunity on that 15 to roll it in and get the cue ball through to here and get rid of the 9, and he hasn't done it. So now he's looking for another option, which he can off this 11. Has to get rid of that 9 ball. Now if he gets rid of the 9, he just needs to come off the rail and out, and he's got a choice of the 10. And if he plays it gentle enough, he might even have a cut on the 13. This has to be good. That needs to keep running. Well, he's now in no man's land, and again we've got an all or nothing shot here on this 15. Down into this bottom left hand corner, and the cue ball, well, if he just potted it plain ball, the cue ball wants to go forward. He's going to have to do something with it. He can draw off it and maybe draw into these and at least hold a shot in the 10. Oh, he's going behind it. Well, that's fine. The little nudge will do. Now, the big problem is the 13. Let's look at the potting angle he has in this 10. Well, the safest option is to go forward with a bit of right English and come into the rail, because then he's got a sight in the 13. Oh, he's played an excellent one. I didn't think he'd the angle to do that, but that's perfect. How good is he going to only be in this 8 ball though? What's that angle like? Well, can certainly get the cue ball between the 4 and the 1, but the 1's a blocking ball. Missed the 1 and he has a shot. So this is his most important shot in this match so far, and it has to go in, and he needs to watch where this cue ball is going, because if he goes forward there's a danger of the scratch on here, and he's okay for pace, and he's picked it out well. He had to work hard for that, but that's a good result. The main concern was that 9 ball to start with and getting rid of it, and then he played a good one to get on that other awkward 13 ball. Wasn't perfect in the 8, but managed to put it away, and Marvin has broke off in rack number 7, and it's come up dry. So here's another good chance for Popman. Wrong button again, hang on. Get a little plug in. So Potman spent a fair bit of time thinking there, and in the end, oh dear.
Oh dear, how sad, never mind.
After all of that, another poor shot by Potman. Trying to do too much on a simple shot there. So now Marvin comes to the table, chooses the solids. And it's another one of these messy tables. 7 balls blocking the 8 ball. 4 ball and 1 ball are not easy to get on at all. Certainly if you get on the 4 you can drop in behind the 1, but how do you get good on that 4 ball? And now Marvin has got no shot. There's certainly not a pot on. And he's looking for places to hide here, and there's not very many options available to him. Well, he could try and tuck in behind off the 4. And he's going to try and kick the 7 in off the rail. In the end, actually fouled there, so it's ball in hand to Potman. Now, is he aware that it's ball in hand here? Because he's... oh yes, he is. So now his dilemma is how he deals with these 2 balls at this end of the table, the ones that he's looking at right now. And he's going to try and run the 7 in with his 14 and follow through, I think. And then he's looked at it, but he's now looking at the 10. No, he's back at the 14. And maybe going to try and draw off the 14 to leave a shot in the 10, maybe. Well, he's looked at every option at this end of the table here. And again, spent a lot of time looking and no end result. And what's more, I think he's left Marvin on this 4 ball, and Marvin's going to nudge the 8 and open up the 1, and that could be a disastrous shot for Potman. And Marvin's drawn the 10 onto his own 7 and potted that as well. And the only saving grace here for Potman is that the 1's now hiding behind the 8. Now that 8 ball, well, that 8 ball I think will pot, provided you can get good on it. But will Potman get that chance? Well, Marvin at a loss as to what to do there. In the end, he's left a wide open table for Potman, and he said, well, there you go, there's the table, let's see if you can run out. In a way, that's put the pressure right on Potman, trailing 4-2. And this has to be error free, this run out. Well, I know what I'd be doing. All those balls at the top end of the table, it'd be unlucky not to have a shot. Now, can he get an angle at some point off this 10 ball and try and nudge into the 8 and the 1 and open it up? Because he would always have his 14 ball over that top left hand corner. But he's not got any angle in the 10 ball to do that now. If he was closer to the rail, if he was over here, he could pot the 10 and spin him over here and open these up. Because he's gonna, if he doesn't do that, it's gonna have to be a great shot to get on this 8 ball. Now, even on this shot here, he can run that his first ball onto the 14, but if he finishes on the rail, he can cut in the 10 and spin the cue ball into these two and take them out and open the table. He has to be committed. And he can leave himself the chance to do it. It's just a question of whether he's actually thinking that far ahead. That we don't know. Well, that's worked out bad, because now he's finished in the middle of the table. He's got a shot in the 10. I think he can possibly draw off that 10 and draw along the rail. But he's then relying on luck to get on a ball by doing that. His 9 ball's not good, and the 13 ball is not in the best of positions. Certainly not now. He's going to be running up to the top end of the table, and if he runs up here and spins down, that's his best chance of now getting on this 8, and he needs to roll through, and he needs to go through far enough. He has to leave that cue ball roughly about there. If he leaves it there, well, it's touch and go whether he can still get that potting angle. Well, he's left himself way high on this 8. Now, I'm not convinced 100% he can get that, can he? No. No, needed to run through as far as I showed there to make sure he could get enough of that 8 ball. And this is another one that might be getting away here. If Marvin can get onto this 6 ball. And this 8 ball, where it's sitting, is Potman's only lifeline. But can Marvin get between them? Well, he doesn't need to. He's got a shot in the 6. Not dead easy, but and it goes. So it's now 5-2, and Marvin is now halfway home. He's more than halfway. Just needs another 4. So that's another rack there, this time where Potman didn't get to the potting angle in the 8. Had to run through closer. Had to take that risk. And Potman's broke off. He's potted a ball. Now what sort of shots he got down here? Well, he's right in the jaws, so he can't get to the 11. He can't, I don't think he can see anything to pot anything. Well, he's going to play the combo, the 10 onto the 11, which looks easy enough. 2 balls have gone in. So immediately, although he's committed himself to the stripes, he has that problem ball there. That's the ball that's going to ruin any chance of a run out, and that is very difficult to get on. And Potman realises that. Well, you think he's just got to take a risk. Well, he was looking to find an impossible gap there. He's gone too far. Well, he's got a chance here. He's got a chance. He has to spin off that rail with left English, not too heavy, and miss the 7 ball and try and find that gap in there. Well, he's had another opportunity to get there with this ball here, and he's not even looking at it. And I think if he doesn't get good here, then that was a wrong choice of shot again. And he's again trying to get onto the 14 that way, and it's such an impossible gap to get to. He had the perfect opportunity on that ball there. If he had potted it with left English, cue ball would have been over that direction into that gap on the 14. So it's another wrong choice of shot for me, I'm afraid. But he's going to have to dig something out here. And now it's all gone wrong. And it was destined to go wrong. It was never going to be any way he could get onto that 14 ball with all of those balls there. But missed a golden chance to get onto it. And, well, clearly either didn't see the shot or didn't fancy it. But there's certain situations where you just have to grab the bull by the horns and go for it. And now he's looking doomed in this rack. Well, he's got the safety. He's actually... Well, he's left the 3 ball on, but that's the only ball I think that's really good for potting. Well, that I would say was not the best choice of shots there by Marvin. He had the 3 ball that could have got him into this rack, but he's went for something a bit too ambitious, and he's given Potman a gift of a chance here. Needs to get into that cue ball though, and get it out into the table. It looks a fairly simple enough shot to leave yourself a shot on this 8 ball off the 14. Well, he's going the other way around, deciding to leave it long. Looks simple enough. But this for 5-3. And I reckon Potman has got out of jail in this rack. He certainly has. That was a... Well, this time I think it was the first real poor choice of shot by Marvin. So Potman back to within 2 and immediately scratches in the break. Not Potman, Marvin. I'm forgetting this alternate break. Well, that's now put a different perspective in this rack, because it's ball in hand in the kitchen. All the balls are sitting good. And, well, I'm going to say it right now. Potman should run this rack. More importantly, he has to. And all of a sudden, this rack's become the most important in the match for Potman. This to get back within one. He's made his choice on the solids. And this is the only solid at this bottom end of the table. So now he can work up the top end. And has to get that 2 ball. Well, another poor shot. He's left himself a thin cut on the one into the right middle, but this cue ball's going to be running. So he has to try and control the pace here. And of course that other issue, the 7 ball isn't a problem as long as you get this side of it, but had to get rid of that too somehow. So this is tough, and really relying on a bit of luck to have any other shot. Well, he's got no shot. He can hit this really hard and thin cut it down into this bottom right hand corner if he wants. And he may well go all out for it, but with no guarantee of anything on this 7 ball. He has to hit this hard. This 2 ball has to move. And it's got a fair bit to travel to get to that corner pocket. Well, he's got the 2. And now, all of a sudden, Marvin has gone favourite because Potman has no shot in the 7. And he's got no way where he's going to leave Marvin no shot. Well, he tried to get to the bottom rail, fell short of that. 9 ball cuts easily enough. Well, I would say Marvin doesn't want to spend too much time thinking about this at the moment because he's got an easy enough starter. He's got a problem ahead with that pink ball, that one, for the run out because it's blocked off and has to get good on it in this side. Now, what's the angle he got in 11? He's got the angle right now on that 11 to stun and draw across for the 12 into the same pocket. And that would deal with the problem, but he hasn't got into the cue ball really enough. He's left it on the low side. But in turn that gives him a decent enough angle to come back down this bottom end of the table here as we're looking. And now it could be a 14-10 combo. It could even be a 13-10 combo. He's got choices. Whichever he prefers, it won't matter. The 10 ball would go in. That's a surprise. That was Mal all geared up to winning there. Got unlucky, got Larry in the first round, he must have. First or second round. Well, Marvin is in the hot seat now. Just a little tickling in this 14. And a little run down the rail and a run through. And I have the 8 ball into the right middle for 6 racks to 3. And I really feel that Potman had to win this rack to really get himself back into a reasonably comfortable position in the match. But as it is, he's going to be trailing by 3. And there's not many racks left in this match for Potman to be losing. He has to start winning them. So Potman breaks off in rack number 10. It's come up dry. A cluster of straight balls up in the top right hand corner. The 14, the 11, the 15 and the 10 ball are all up there, including the 9 and also that pink 12 stripe ball. And the only ball down at this end is the 13, the orange one, which is that one. And Marvin has to deal with that now that he's got the shot he can play. He can miss the 2 ball, I think. Or can he? I don't think he can. Now looking at that, no. And the fact that the 8 ball's at the top end of the table, he can't leave this 13 ball too much longer before he gets rid of it. So now's the best chance when he's got the chance. And the unfortunate thing is, the collision in the 2 ball has sent the cue ball into the pocket. So, well, the only saving grace is the 5 and the 4 have been nudged together. So any likelihood of Potman running this rack has gone to a less than 50% chance of doing it unless he can get the break on these 2 balls. And he's got the ball in hand, so he can pot the 2 and he can draw into the 2 of them. Well, that's helped the situation because they're now in play. The 4 ball though is a tight little pot into that middle, and the other problem is the 1 ball, which is down here, but the 1 ball does go. So the only problem there as well is he's got the wrong angle on the 6. The cue ball wouldn't be good on the 1, but now he's got a chance to get a shot on the 1 ball, and he should be looking at that now. He has to look at that 6, and he has to look at the spot he has to run into to be able to pot the 1. If he's any intention of leaving the 1 ball as his last ball to go on the 8, it might be the undoing of him. This is where you maybe have to take a risk. You pot the 1 and you nudge the 8 and get it into the table, and you hope you still have a shot in the 3. You have to take these risks at these desperate times. I think he's got to do it. Has to do it. I don't think he's getting another chance to get up there. He has to try and do something. Well, in the end, he's chickened out. He hasn't hit that hard enough, I don't think. And now he's got no shot. Well, even if he was to call the bank on the 7, he's going to have to spin the cue ball around the 12 to get to the banking angle in that 7, I think. Well, I don't think he can get through there. He has to spin around it. Aye, but it's Friday night 9 balls double elimination anyway, so Mal should be there or thereabouts. The only problem with that is he's going to be giving everybody a heavy handicap, especially in the one loss side. So, Popman's tried to play a safe. He's left Marvin calling an ambitious combo by the looks of it. I can't see where the combo is there. Well, it looks as if he's going to try and nudge the 10. He went an entirely different way for what I thought he was going to do. But he's left it pretty safe. This is not an easy shot in this 7 ball. Not easy at all. Going to have to probably call the bank. He's looking at the cut, but it's very fine. Well, he's missed a 7. So this is Marvin's chance to steal another rack here. Well, if he takes the 14, he's still going to have to play a little controlled shot, because he's going to have to get rid of that 15. And he's nudged to 8. And if he just draws back, he has to draw back missing that 8 ball so he can actually leave the combo in the 10 and the 11. This isn't 100% definite here. Well, he's missed the connection on the 8, so now he's okay. And now he's got an easy enough combo. That was the only problem with that shot there, is the likelihood of running into that 8 ball. And he's avoided that. Now, he has to be careful where that 10 ball goes. To make the potting angle on that, he has to send the 10 that way slightly just to cut it. Well, it's held its position. Still left to cut. He's okay. And just a little roll in into the middle pocket. And it's now going to be 7-4 to Marvin. And the break goes back to Marvin in rack number 11. Six ball has gone into the top right. And looking at these solid balls, they're perfect. There is not a problem ball in the table. And of course, the other bonus is 2 of his own balls. If he takes the solids, he's got 2 here to finish off and just leave himself on the 8. So right now he's odds-on favourite for this rack if he chooses the solids, because he can pot the 3. He could possibly run through to here and leave himself in the 1 off that angle. He's just slowed down enough. He's got the shot in the 1. That will do. So that can get rid of that problem ball. What's the angle he's got there? Well, if he plays a little drawy stun shot, he could go up there and leave himself on the 7. And he'll also then have the 4 down the rail. So this is where you have to look at the path to get out here. And he's still got his shot in the 7. So that would be the next one to take. Get rid of that. And that's all the problems at the top end of the table gone. Now this is where he has to hit this 4 ball firm. Must hit it firm and try and get across the table here. Because if he doesn't get good on the 5, then he can't get on the 2. But there's a chance to get on the 2 right now if he hits it hard enough. Well, you can see the path that cue ball was going. If he'd hit it hard enough, he'd have got to there, and it would have been an easy 2-5. So now he needs to just draw off it and leave a little more of a cut. He should be okay though. Shouldn't be any problem. And Marvin, very quickly, those balls ended up perfect for him there. Those solids. And it's now just one frame or one rack needed for victory. And to march on the one loss side in this 8-ball bar table world championships. And Popman has the proverbial mountain to climb. So from what I've seen, Marvin is well capable of going well deep into the tournament. He's going to give whoever he plays a tough match, no doubt about that. But the scratch and the break from Popman, ball in hand in the kitchen for Marvin. Now he's looking at the one ball. Now the 4 ball, the pink, well, he just nudged it out, but hasn't really improved that situation a great deal. And straight away, this has then become the problem ball, the 4 ball. He's only got one ball at the top end of the table, or the bottom end as we look. But that's not where his major problem's going to be to run out. He has to find some way of doing something with the 4 ball, and he's not really going to do that at this visit by the look of it. Well, he's got a good angle on this 5. He can find a gap between the 8 and the 2. That's those 2 balls. And he can find a gap to get down here, but he still can't find a way to deal with this pink 4 ball yet. He could drop right down onto the rail and try and get underneath it and play it down long. But that 13's blocking the pocket, so that's the other problem. That's actually not bad. It's not an easy shot, but he's got a shot on this 4. Past the 14. And off the jaw. Yes, it has. And he's got a nice angle on the 2 to get the cue ball into the middle of the table. Somewhere up here would do. Not too far. And this match is over. So Marvin has played some nice little runouts here in this match, taking pretty much every opportunity he's had, and in the end it's a comfortable win for Marvin. Marvin wins, and he's beaten Popman by 9 racks to 3. And Popman, well, he'll have to try again sometime. Well, let's have a look at the bracket and see how that shapes up. Now, the bracket will update in a second or two. Let's just see that. And we see that Marvin will go on to play. Well, he says his name is Fan, but his name is Wanwa on there. But, well, if they two play, that should be a good match. So, there's some good matches shaping up on the one loss side as well. Now this is right down to the money end of the tournament now, And another quick reminder that the next match, unless something else happens in between, the next match I'll be streaming will be Mr. Bill and Bedhead, two big contenders for the tournament, amongst others. There's other strong players left in the tournament, and they're due to play at 1800 hours British summer time, 6 o'clock in the evening my time, and that would be 1 PM East Coast time, and that's 10 AM Pacific time. So that's a race to 11 on the winner's side. That's a round 4 match in a couple of days time. So until then, folks, and anybody that's watching, thanks for watching, and we will see you again sometime, no doubt.